What we have here is the Whistler from Venezuela at 60.2, 62.1% alcohol. All right, so the Whistler have been sitting on my shelf for quite some time. I don't know how I missed it in the first set of Raising Glass reviews, but it is not forgotten. All right, so the legend of Whistler is a demonic ghoul that shuffles through rural Venezuela towns at night looking for victims to add to the bag of bones he carries on his back. Drinking a moderate amount of rum actually keeps the Whistler away. But if you drink too much rum, the Whistler will come for you, whistling his signature melody of doom. They read out some notes here. I don't know what that's about. Anyhow, so this is Venezuelan rum, 12 years in Venezuela, 2 years in the UK, 62.1%. Molasses in column still, no additives. We suggest adding a little bit of water. So they're already telling me to add water. Guys, if you checked out my previous review of the Yahweh Strikes Back, you know water is needed for some of these rums. Let's see how much water is needed for the Venezuela. All right, for the Whistler. Let's get into it. Here is the Whistler, 14 years. Smells good. Molasses, some tannins. Seems like a pretty simple, straightforward rum. What I consider rums that are closer to what is quintessentially rum. To me, a quintessential rum is more leaning towards a column still, depending a lot of its flavor notes from the barrels and stuff like that. That's what I think a quintessential rum is. However, I love non-quintessential rums. I love, the boom bam, a lot of impact, a lot of flavor. But let's just see how quintessential the Whistler from Venezuela is. Let's get to the tasting. Wow! 62.1%. Tacky in the palate. Very prickly on the tongue. Wow, intense. Pretty good length, medium finish. Molasses, caramel up front. I'm going through so many tastings right now. Yeah, the bitter, lingering finish is still there, but it tastes exactly how it smells. Like I'm getting barrel char, getting a little bit of tannins, getting a little bit of that molasses, that caramel, but the very intense on the lips, the gums, are all inside the mouth. You get a lot of feeling for 6.60, 61, 62.1%. God. There's some brightness in there. Almost tastes like some fresh wood. Like I don't know what kind of barrel they had, but the 12 years in Venezuela, the Venezuelan heat really like pushed in the wood tannins, the wood flavors into this rum. So, in talking with rum collections, Danny, we're talking about some Guyana rums, I think, the other day. And the Guyana rum that he chose, to me, tasted closer to what a quintessential rum is, those Spanish style rums, like column, that type of stuff, which is what this is. So, to me, if you line up your taste profile with what rum collections like, this would be your rum. Very much a quintessential rum. Very much like column still that was aged in the Venezuelan heat. Lots of wood flavor, lots of wood characteristics, um, lots of just slight caramelly kind of flavors. Orange, there's oranges. You get a lot of those light column stills. The nose is very good. I really, really appreciate the nose. The taste, however, is a bit more straightforward. And I would like, because as you guys know, I like the funky, the, you know, that kind of rah, in your face rums. This is not that. This is very much more delicate. I can see myself sipping this with like a huge rock, because to me, rums that aren't rums that are very kind of simple and straightforward, kind of just like a nice big rock and just slowly sip and discover the flavors, over time, you know. Like it's just I don't know. There's something calming. This is like a like summertime, like a evening time right now on the weekend. I'll get me a nice rocks glass and I'll pour some of this. So this is my use for the raising glasses, the whistler from Venezuela. Guys, let me know down in the comments, how do you like your rums? You like more column stills? You like more pot stills? And do you like your column stills at 62.1%? Packing a punch, packing lots of flavor. Let's see you in the next one. Raising glasses all night.